It was a Friday afternoon, about 4:30. Kev walked into the transport office swinging his lorry keys around his finger. He was smiling like a bloke who already had his first pint waiting for him down the pub. He pushed the door open, completely oblivious to what was waiting for him. Standing right there by the desk next to our transport manager were two uniformed police officers. I was standing by the vending machine out in the hallway. I saw the color completely drain out of Kev's face. He froze dead in his tracks. Our manager, an old school bloke named Dave, did not shout. He did not look angry. He just reached across his desk, turned his laptop around, and hit play on a video. And right there in front of the police and half the yard staff, Kev watched his 15-year driving career vanish into thin air. They put him in handcuffs, walked him out across the tarmac, and put him in the back of a police car. How does a top-tier driver end up getting nicked at his own depot? It all comes down to the oldest temptation in the haulage industry: diesel. A 40-ton Arctic holds hundreds of liters of the stuff. When the prices at the pump go through the roof, a full fuel tank is basically a mobile bank vault full of liquid gold. And where there is gold, you will always find someone arrogant enough to think they can steal it. Kev was a brilliant driver. He could reverse a trailer into a blind loading bay without breaking a sweat. But he was a dodger, a proper chancer. He was always looking for a side hustle to make a quick quid off the books. Back in the old days, stealing diesel was easy. Blokes would pull into a dark lay-by, drop a rubber hose into the tank, and siphon out enough to run their personal cars for the week. But you cannot do that anymore. Modern lorries are practically spaceships. They have telematics. They have digital tachographs. The computers in these cabs track exactly how much fuel is in the tank down to the absolute milliliter. If the fuel level drops while the engine is turned off, a massive digital alarm goes off on the transport manager's computer back at the depot. You cannot fool the system. Or at least, that is what the manufacturer tells you. One cold Tuesday night, I was parked up at a services near the A14. Kev knocked on my cab door, climbed in, and handed me a terrible cup of machine coffee. He was looking dead smug. He told me he had found a blind spot in the matrix. I told him he was an idiot and to leave it alone. But Kev wanted to brag. He explained that the fuel sender unit and the digital tacho were wired through one specific cluster behind the dashboard. He found out that if you pulled one exact fuse while the ignition was completely off, the telemetry went blind. The lorry basically forgot it existed. His plan was simple. He would park up in a dark, quiet lay-by in the middle of nowhere. He would pull the fuse. The little green light on the tacho would die. Then his mate in a white transit van would pull up right alongside his Arctic in the pitch black. They would pop the fuel cap, drop a high-speed electric pump in, and drain 100 liters into plastic drums in the back of the van. It took them less than 5 minutes. When they were done, Kev would plug the fuse back in and turn the key. The computer would boot back up and read the new lower fuel level. But because the system had been totally dead during the theft, it registered the missing fuel as a slight sensor error on startup. No alarms, no warnings, just a dirty little secret hidden in the electrics. I stared at him in that cab and told him he was playing with fire. He just laughed at me. He said it was a victimless crime. The company made millions, and they wrote off sensor glitches all the time. He started doing it twice a week. He was selling the nicked diesel to a dodgy scaffolding firm for half the pump price. He was making an absolute fortune in untaxed cash. He started wearing a flashy new watch. He started bragging in the canteen about taking his missus to Spain for 2 weeks. But Kev forgot one very important thing. Technology might have blind spots, but old school transport managers do not. Dave had been in haulage since before computers were even invented. You could not pull the wool over his eyes. Dave noticed that Kev's lorry was suddenly returning terrible miles per gallon. The computer software said everything was fine. The digital sensors showed zero theft. But Dave did not trust the computer. He sat down at his desk with a cheap plastic calculator, a pen, and Kev's physical fuel card receipts. The math simply did not add up. The lorry was drinking way too much diesel for the miles it was actually doing on the tarmac. Dave knew exactly what was happening. He just needed to prove it. So he laid a trap. Which brings us right back to that Friday afternoon in the transport office. When Dave slid that laptop across the desk to Kev, the police watched the screen closely. Kev had been so clever. He had unplugged the main telemetry and blinded the digital tacho, but he completely forgot about the forward-facing dash cam on the windscreen. The dash cam is not wired into the tacho. It is hardwired directly to the lorry's main battery on a completely separate, independent circuit. And more importantly, it has a built-in G sensor. A G sensor is designed to start recording automatically if the lorry gets bumped or hit while it is parked in a car park. When Kev and his mate were climbing up the side of the massive fuel tank to drop the pump in, their physical weight shifted the cab. Just a tiny bit. Just enough to rock the suspension on the driver's side. That tiny movement woke up the dash cam. The camera silently turned on in the pitch black cab. It perfectly recorded the white transit van parked right in front of the lorry. It recorded the exact license plate of the van clearly in the moonlight. And it recorded Kev walking round the front bumper carrying 2 massive plastic drums full of stolen diesel. Then, the camera quietly uploaded that video straight to the cloud server on Dave's computer. Kev had hacked the fuel sensors, but he had literally filmed himself committing the crime in high definition. He was sacked on the spot for gross misconduct. Because he got a criminal record for theft, his HGV license was immediately revoked by the traffic commissioner. 15 years of hard work. 15 years of early mornings and late nights out on the road. All of it gone. Over a few $100 that he ended up blowing down the pub anyway. I never spoke to Kev after that day. Nobody in the yard did. In this industry, trust is literally everything. You are out on the road completely on your own. You are trusted with equipment worth £250,000. You are trusted with cargo that is worth even more. If the boss cannot trust you, you simply have no place sitting in that cab. There are always going to be people who tell you they have found a shortcut. They will tell you they have a clever trick to beat the system, to fudge the tacho, or to make a bit of dodgy cash on the side. Do not listen to them. Just walk away. The technology is always smarter than you. And even if the computer misses it, a good transport manager with a pen and a calculator never will. Honesty is the only way you survive out here, mate. You do the job right, you keep your nose clean, and you go home with your head held high. No amount of quick cash is worth losing your livelihood. If you made it to the end of this story, drop a like on the video, It genuinely helps. Make sure you subscribe for more real stories from the UK tarmac. And let me know down in the comments, have you ever worked with a bloke who thought he was smarter than the boss? How did he eventually get caught? Keep it honest out there, mates. Keep the shiny side up.